What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, live late tonight on a Saturday night to talk some fantasy football, to answer your fantasy questions. Hopefully everybody's still awake. Hopefully you guys are ready to ask some questions and talk some fantasy. Had a lot of schoolwork to do, so that's why, unfortunately, I missed out on doing the fantasy starts and sits this week, but I wanted to make it up here and answer your questions in this video. So if you're not here live right now to ask me a question, make sure you do leave in the comment section your fantasy start and sit question, lineup question, trade question. I know some trade deadlines are really coming up here, so make sure you leave that question in the comment section below if you are not here live, and I will be sure to reply with my answer in the comments before the games start on Sunday. So if you're watching this Sunday morning and you have a question to ask, then make sure you leave that question in the comment section below. What's going on, guys? What's going on? New life? He says, hello, Mitch from Mexico. What's up, man? Hot Take Hockey. What's going on, John? I hope everything went well tonight. Beetlejuice is in the chat. Bro, I'm a big fan of Beetlejuice. What's going on, man? I saw you golfing today on Twitter. What are you saying? Please help with a start or sit, Chris Godwin or Tyler Boyd. Okay, that's interesting. I actually kind of like both this week. Obviously, there's some question marks about the Chris Godwin Tampa Bay Buccaneers situation and just the receivers in general because of the stinker that was left on the football field in week number 9. So there's questions to be answered there. I like both of them, but if I had to lean towards one situation that I think will be more reliable, I think it's Tyler Boyd. I know that he's playing Pittsburgh, but I do expect the Steelers to win this game. I do expect Joe Burrow to have some success, maybe more success than people think versus Pittsburgh, even though they're a defense that is very good, one of the better ones in the league, and they create pressure. There's going to be moments in this game where the Bengals do move the football, and I think through the air, it should be from Tyler Boyd in the slot. That's what I think. Now, Godwin could definitely have a blow-up spot, but I think Godwin is probably more likely to give you a reliable floor and less of a ceiling than Tyler Boyd. I think Godwin, AB, and Evans are all going to kind of be split each and every week where maybe one of them goes off. I think all of them will do well, but I think there's equal opportunity where they all just do serviceable. I don't think there's going to be weeks, a lot of them at least, maybe, we'll see, I don't know, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of weeks where two of them go off. Like this week, let's say Antonio Brown goes off, I don't think Chris Godwin's also going to go off. Mike Evans goes off, I don't think Chris Godwin is going to go off, and Antonio Brown's going to go off. It's probably going to be one, maybe two of them have great games, and that's about it. Plus, you got to factor in Gronk and the running game. There's going to be games where they play like the Chiefs and some of these higher scoring teams where that might actually be the case, where two of them go off, but probably not this week versus Carolina, even though I think they have a decent matchup there. Anish says, should I start Fournette or Melvin Gordon? That's interesting. So Melvin Gordon this week, trying to think of who he's playing. Leonard Fournette, I do like the matchup. I just spoke about the matchup versus the Panthers, and he did have a very good game. He's playing the Raiders. So they're both pretty good matchups on paper. I like both of them this week. I would find a way to put them both in my lineups if I need to. But if I were to lean either way, I think Leonard Fournette. Now, I don't know, though. Like, Gordon's probably more certain for touches, but I do think the matchup is better for Fournette, and I do see the game for Fournette going more towards the game script that would suggest that Leonard Fournette's getting a lot of touches in this game, possibly a touchdown, maybe a couple catches. He's involved in every area for the Bucs, and I do expect the Bucs to score 30-plus points in this game, so I'd expect Fournette to at least put up 6 of those. So I'd say Fournette is probably the better, safer choice, but That's just my opinion. New Life says half PPR Claypool or Boyd. Ooh. So I think half PPR changes some things. Claypool has kind of been a touchdown monster this year. I have him in a couple of leagues. I do think that there is more upside in a half PPR league for Chase Claypool to have a big game than Tyler Boyd. I just mentioned how I like Tyler Boyd, kind of maybe above consensus this week. But Chase Claypool has the ability to go off in any given game. So that's why I will go with Chase Claypool in that game. Big Play Slay says, I'm still awake. What's going on, man? He says, let's go Eagles, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles, fly. There you go. On the road to victory. Eagles, Eagles. No, I hope they lose. Jay Valdez says, I say start Gordon, sorry. Mark says, Mitch is the GOAT. What's up, Mark? You're the GOAT. The Alex says, dude, it's almost 1 a.m. Well, it's 9:51 where I'm at. 3-seed Monty says, yo, what's up, 3-seed Monty? Monty, what's up, man? Hey, Mitch, do I start Cooks or Marvin Jones Jr.? So Kenny Golladay is out once again. He plays Washington. Cooks. Who does Cooks play? Cooks plays... Damn. See, I haven't even looked at the games in like 2 days, bro. But he plays Cleveland. That's right. So, Cooks has been pretty good. Pretty consistent. For Marvin Jones, not as much. I mean, he's had a couple nice outings without Kenny Golladay. If it were me, I expect the Texans-Cleveland game to be pretty high scoring, to go over the total, to be a lot of points scored. So I'd go with Brandon Cooks. He's proven to be consistent. He's proven to work when he's in your lineup and play well. And I'd probably lean towards Brandon Cooks. I do expect the Lions to probably beat Washington, but I think it will be pretty low scoring. So I would fade Jones in comparison to Cooks. I just think Cooks' consistency is why you would go with him, as well as the matchup being pretty decent there. So the next one, oh no, I'm not mod on this account. BRB says, Monty, I knew it was you. I was just kind of curious what account that was. OHS says, hello, what's up, Buffalo Gaming? What's going on, bro? Anthony says, I have a feeling the Patriots could win tomorrow night. Anthony, please do not mess with my feelings. Thank you. Bye. Jacob says, hi. What's up, Jacob? Big Play Slay says, John, we were just in Rocha's live. Rocha's, I think. I don't know who you're talking about, but I don't know. Okay. Tampa says Chris Godwin or Sammy Watkins. I think you got to go Chris Godwin there. Beetlejuice wants everybody in the chat to pick between Godwin or Bodo. Bodo Boyd. Bodo Winter. Big Play Slay says Travis Fulgham set to have a big day. Did that just rhyme? But will he or won't he? I mean, can he dominate the matchup versus James Bradbury? Because that's mostly likely who he's going to be guarded by. Maybe Carson Wentz fades Fulgham and goes to Jalen Reagor, or goes to Alshon Jeffrey back in the lineup? Anyone? No? Okay. Valdez says, I feel like the Cardinals are going to beat the Bills. Rise up, Red Sea. I don't sense any sort of bias in that comment. Coach says, Ben, Tom Brady, or Goff. I believe that's what you mean by TB, Tom Brady. So I am going to go with... I kind of like them all. They all have good matchups. I do expect Ben to have a solid game, but I wouldn't go with Ben. I expect Goff to have a great game, given the matchup he has in this one. I know that Goff's hard to trust, though, so I could see why you wouldn't go with him. Tom Brady and Ben will be about the same, I think. I think Brady will be slightly better this week. I think I would go with Goff because I think he has the highest ceiling. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but he's playing the worst pass defense in NFL history. So I'm going to go with Jared Goff. None of them are runners. None of them contribute in that fashion, so they don't really provide the floor. Yeah, I could see Ben or Tom Brady winning the week over Goff, but I think I would have to go Goff as the guy with the highest ceiling to potentially put up big numbers. So I'd go with Goff. Durkant says Fuller or Cooks. I think you have to go with Fuller, but like that one is tough because Fuller is going to see better cornerbacks, and in this matchup, he's going to see Denzel Ward. So, like, if you feel like Denzel Ward's going to shut down Fuller or, like, limit him, then you could go with Cooks if you're just banking on that. Obviously, Fuller's been more consistent throughout the year. It's tough to fade Fuller for a teammate, especially. Fuller has been a number one receiver this year in fantasy. Like, he has not had a bad week yet, other than, like, week 2. So, yeah, Cooks is playing phenomenal. They're both kind of giving you the same production right now. So if you wanted to go with Cooks because you feel like Denzel Ward will be covering Fuller and you're fading Denzel Ward, then sure. But like, I don't know. That's always a dangerous game to play because Fuller is always going to be at least more involved in the offense because he is the number one guy. Anish says DK Metcalf or Robert Woods. You can't sit DK Metcalf for anybody. Just because he's playing Jalen Ramsey, I don't care. And you got to play DK Metcalf. Robert Woods is good, but he's not DK Metcalf. And even though I would start Robert Woods if you can. Start Robert Woods, especially if you're in a PPR league. He's going to have a big game, but you cannot sit DK Metcalf. Mark says, make sure to Gronk spike the like button. OHS says Allen or Murray. I'm going to say Josh Allen, but it will be interestingly close. I mean, both of them could outdo each other. They're both going to be great, I think. It should be a high-scoring game. Mike says one flex spot, full PPR. Antonio Brown, I'm assuming, because A.J. Brown already played. Jalen Reagor or Sterling Shepard. Ooh. They're all kind of boom or bust players here. I would go with AB. I was impressed physically with what I saw from Antonio Brown. He looked pretty good for a guy that hasn't played in basically a season plus, maybe 2 years. And he's going to be more comfortable with another week of practice. He was in on a majority of the snaps last week, and he actually looked like the best receiver on the team that game. I know it was a terrible game for the Bucs, but he looked like the best receiver. So I'd go with AB, see how it goes another week. Reagor could definitely put up like a touchdown in a big game. But that's really unreliable in my opinion. Shepard might be more reliable than Reagor, but has less upside. So I'd probably go with AB because he offers the same, like he offers a high ceiling and also a decent floor because of his chemistry with Brady. I know that they were off a little bit on that one interception and that, but he did at least put up like 40 yards last week in a terrible game for them. So that's not absolutely atrocious, where you could have had much worse where he didn't play. So, yeah. Michael says Ben or Danny Dimes. I'm going to go with Big Ben on that one. It's tough to play Danny Dimes right now in fantasy. Crow says, bro, I checked out Busboy's TikTok. And the girls said they were besties, crying face. Are you commenting? Go comment on his TikTok. He's TikTok famous. Big Cookie says, I have Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, and Allen Robinson. Well, congratulations on winning your fantasy league, sir. But I would start Diggs for sure. I really do like Keenan Allen the rest of the season. I think you have to start. Allen Robinson versus Minnesota should be a really quality start. So you have 5 options here. Here's the thing. You have to sit one of the... You sit Godwin, in my opinion. He's dead last here. Now the decision is up to Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, and Allen Robinson. I'm for sure starting Diggs. I love the matchup, and he's been awesome. I think he's leading the league in receiving yards. Keenan Allen has a tough matchup. I think he's going to be facing Byron Jones. So that's a tough matchup. DK Metcalf has a tough matchup versus Jalen Ramsey. And Allen Robinson has an easy matchup. So I would sit Godwin and Robinson because I think Robinson's game is most likely to be low scoring. And I think Metcalf, Diggs, and Allen are all playing in games that will be high scoring. So I'm going to go with those three guys. Big Play Slay says Jalen Reagor and Goddard get more reps this week because they came off injuries 2 weeks ago. Yes, definitely expect Dallas Goedert to get more reps. Anish says Metcalf or Woods. I answer that. Benjamin says Gronk or Andrews. I don't know how reliable Gronk is going to be with Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin back. He wasn't super reliable last week, although he should have scored a touchdown. The Patriots have been extraordinarily awesome versus tight ends this year. That's the only thing they've been good at. So it is a tough matchup for Andrews, but I do think you got to start Andrews, even though he hasn't been so good this year. That's kind of like just hoping for a touchdown. I would go with Andrews. I just think he's going to be more reliable. Athic says Boyd or Thielen. Thielen is in a tough matchup. I'd probably go with Boyd, but yeah, that one's tough. That one's really tough because neither of them face a really easy matchup or anything like that. I actually have Jalen Reagor on one of my teams, and I didn't even draft him. Somebody dropped him, and I picked him up. Crow says Terry McLaurin or Tyler Lockett. I like Tyler Lockett this week a lot, but I think Terry McLaurin's going to be awesome as well. I'm going to go with Tyler Lockett. That might be bold because he's hit and miss, but I really think because Ramsey's going to be on Metcalf for the most part, that Lockett is going to feast. So I'm going to go with Lockett for the explosive spot, but I would try to start McLaurin. I mean, I don't know who else you have on your team that you're not starting both of them, but yeah. Mark says, is Zach Moss a solid flex play? Yeah, he's a decent flex play, especially in standard or half PPR leagues. Joe Mixon says, I can stay up. I live in AK and Jarvis or Hunt. Jarvis or Hunt. I think I'm going with Hunt there. Easy matchup. Yes, Chubb is back, but Hunt was actually more productive for fantasy purposes without Chubb. So I'm going with Mr. Hunt. Blue says, I'm starting Thielen, Kupp, and T. Higgins. I'm benching Godwin. Half PPR, but I'm extremely worried about Thielen's matchup versus the Bears. Your thoughts? I think Thielen can be fine. It's just a matter of how much the Vikings actually pass the ball, which has been the primary issue. Trust me, I got Justin Jefferson in my primary league, and I'm not happy right now, and the same has been happening to Thielen. I would probably play Godwin over Thielen, maybe. I'd think about that one at the very least. Thielen probably has he definitely has a larger target share, but Godwin's matchup is much, much better. And Godwin is the guy that I think will be the most involved out of all of the Bucs receivers, unless AB overtakes him. But I think Godwin is going to be the primary beneficiary of the offense because he's the slot receiver, in terms of targets at least. Benjamin says Gronk or Andrews. I answered that question. Jacob says, need one in PPR. Singletary, Burkhead, Latavius Murray. Also have the Miami and Chicago backs on waivers. I think Singletary. I don't love Burkhead's matchup. Latavius Murray is very hit and miss. Miami and Chicago running backs, I'm not a fan of. Tampa says Godwin or Watkins. I answered that. Godwin. Lucas says Dobbins or Jamal Williams for running back 2. Good question. Dobbins. Valdez says Kirk or John Brown. John Brown revenge game? Anyone? But I actually think probably Christian Kirk. Because Tre'Davious White's going to be on DeAndre Hopkins. If he's playing, that is. I don't even know if he is. John Brown revenge game, though. You never know. But I think Christian Kirk will feast on whoever the heck the other guy is. If that's Josh Norman or whoever's covering him. Adam, what's up, man? Says Mitch, who do I flex this week? Zach Moss, Keelan Cole, Latavius Murray, or Logan Thomas? I would go with Zach Moss there. I feel pretty good about that one. Big Cookie says, I have Chris Godwin, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf, Allen Robinson. I already read that one, but I'm still amazed that you have all those players. Are you in like a 2-person league? Jacob says, should I trade Robinson after this week? I'll check for you. Which Robinson are you talking about? Allen? If you're talking about Allen Robinson, he plays Minnesota, has a bye, Green Bay, Detroit, Houston, Minnesota, Jacksonville. So based on his schedule, he has one tough matchup versus Alexander. The rest of his schedule, Detroit, Houston, Minnesota, Jacksonville, Minnesota, is really, really easy. So as long as you're in playoff position, I would keep Allen Robinson. That goes for all of Bears players. Montgomery, I like Montgomery as a running back too. Who else? Well, I guess there's no one really else, but Bears have an easy schedule versus defenses, that is. JJ says, question, just traded Kyler, Zeke, and Jefferson to receive Deshaun Watson, Jacobs, and Michael Thomas. What do you think? I know Watson has a fairly difficult schedule the rest of the way, and Kyler probably has an easier one. So I would say Kyler is probably going to be better than Watson, although they've both been spectacular in fantasy this year. Zeke for Jacobs. I think I would lean towards Jacobs, although it's pretty close. Jacobs has been underwhelming. So is Zeke. Jefferson and Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas definitely, even though Jefferson probably has an easier schedule, but Michael Thomas is Michael Thomas. So when summing that up, I would probably lean towards the Michael Thomas side just because you got the best player in the trade. But it's fairly even. Like, I'm not going to say either person blew the other out. It depends really on the wild card of Justin Jefferson. If that guy does something special down the stretch, then maybe the guy that gets Jefferson wins the trade, which is the other guy. But I would probably go with Michael Thomas there. There can't. That's what I do. Jack says Metcalf or Tyler Lockett. I'm going to say Lockett has a better game, but don't quote me on that one. Jacob says need one in PPR. Singletary. I already answered that, bro. I already answered that, Benjamin. Stop answering me the same questions. Aiden says Mike Williams, Jacoby. Bro, why you even asking this question? You talking about the GOAT. Jacoby. Nah, just kidding. Mike Williams or Marquise Brown. So Mike Williams has a tough matchup. He'll be facing Xavier Howard. Marquise Brown is facing probably Gilmore or Jonathan Jones. I honestly, without bias, am going to go with Jacoby Myers because the Patriots are more than likely going to be getting absolutely, utterly blown the F out, which means Jacoby Myers is going to have 10 receptions in the fourth quarter. LGRW says Brady is too slow. Thank you for that great analysis. Abby says Josh Jacobs versus Broncos or Nick Chubb versus the Texans. Roll out the Chubber. Tampa says Ali Marpet is out again. Should we be concerned for the pass protection? More than you would be if he's in the game, but versus Carolina, no. Afix says Thielen or Boyd, Mitch. I answered that question, I thought. Didn't I? I thought I did. If you want to go with Thielen, go with Thielen. But I think my intuition tells me Boyd. Although I think it will be close because neither of them have good matchups. T-Bone says Chubb or Antonio Gibson. Ooh. Gibson has a limited ceiling, though. But he plays the Lions. But it's Nick Chubb. But I don't know how much Nick Chubb's going to play. If it's full PPR, I would go with Gibson. If it was half or standard, go with Chubb. Should I start the Dolphins defense? Sure, why not? Ryan says DJ Moore or Devontae. Ryan, come on, bro. Don't even ask that question. You know the answer to that. Come on, man. Oh, you meant Parker. DJ Moore or Devontae Parker. I don't know if Carlton Davis is playing, so that's interesting. Devontae Parker. Miami versus the Chargers. Ooh. I'm going to go with Moore, but it's not by a lot. But if you were talking about Devontae Adams, who you said initially, I don't even want to answer that question. Do the Titans suck? Ask Party. Yes. No, I'm just kidding. They don't suck, but they're not great. What is it actually? Ross Dwelly or Jordan Reed. Rollout number 81. Is that his number? 81, 86? Adam says Josh Allen in good weather is greater than anything else. DJ Moore, Henry Ruggs. Ooh. I think I'm going with DJ Moore there. Hunter Landry. I answered that. Hunt. Butthead says, who should I start at flex PPR? Duke, Edmonds, or Jet McKinnon? Edmonds. Jason says, AB, Justin Jefferson, Chase Claypool, or T. Higgins? Let's fade the Bears defense. Let's fade the Steelers defense. So let's make that go down to AB and Chase Claypool. They're both in very similar situations, but you know what it is. It's a Tom Brady revenge week. So let's go with Antonio Brown. What do we got? Jesse says, should I start Allen Robinson in my lineup? Will he play? Pick up Anthony Miller or Patterson. I believe Allen Robinson is playing. Let me check. He is questionable. He was limited in practice throughout the week, but is still expected to play. Yes, I would keep him in my lineup, and if he does not play, pick up one of those two guys. That's a good sound strategy, Jesse. I like it. That's what I would do. McKinnon or Bernard? McKinnon. Ellis says 3 and 6, 8th seed. Ouch. Keeper team. Ryan Moore, Chark, Hollywood. Trade a 2nd round pick, really a 5th round pick because keepers for Mostert and Anderson. I mean, you're 3 and 6. I don't know if I'd be willing to trade that much for 2 players. I mean, if you really want to compete, you got a pretty decent team, and I'm surprised you're 3 and 6. Would Mostert and Anderson really upgrade your team, though? You got Henry, you got Jacobs, you got Hunt. All 3 of them are startable. McKinnon, Dobbins. Those are backups. You have Andrews at tight end, who's fine. Ryan at quarterback's fine. Moore, Chark, Hollywood. You could use a receiver. DK, AJ Brown, it's pretty good. I mean, I don't really see it being worth it, but it depends on the format of your league. Like, I don't know how many guys you start. So, I mean, if you want to do it, if you want to compete, if you think you got the team, if you think those guys are the difference between you making the playoffs and making a run or missing the playoffs, then sure, go for it. But, like, if you don't think that, then don't do it. Super Kurt? Soup skirt? I don't know, bro. Sups Kurt? I don't know, bro. Sir, Burrow and Godwin or Big Ben and Juju? Why can't you just start a combination of... I would go with Ben and Juju, though, as a stack. But I don't see why you can't start Ben and Godwin. I mean, you can. I'm trying to answer everyone's question. Sorry I'm so far behind. Tampa says Patriots upset the Ravens. Stop it! Christian Kirk or Tyler Lockett? Lockett. Next. Mahomes or Russell Wilson? Who's Mahomes playing this week? Is this a trick question? I like Russell Wilson, though. I don't think Mahomes plays anyone this week. He does not. He's on a bye. I hate it when people ask me bye questions because it makes me think of what the game is. So Russell Wilson. Are you asking who's better? I don't know, man. You could ask me every week and I give you a different answer. Singletary or DJ Dallas PPR? Well, Hyde's out and Carson's out. So doesn't that mean DJ Dallas is up to the plate? They both kind of stink, to be honest with you. But I'm going to go with DJ Dallas. Pay attention towards who Seattle is going to give the touches there, because I haven't kept up to date with that situation because I actually don't own Carson in any league. So I don't really know that situation that well. But if you do and you feel DJ Dallas is the guy, I'd go with him, though. Moss, I think, is better than Singletary at this point. Connor says PPR, choose 3. Chubb, Edmonds, Moss, McKissick. I'd go with the first 3 that you named. Ashton says, should I put in Antonio Brown or Cooper Kupp? I think I'd go with Cooper Kupp. LGRW says, Mitch, BLV skipped by question. I want expert advice. Kelly, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy. No, I'm just kidding. I am an expert. Kelly, SD. Kelly's hurt, isn't he? No, that's Jackson. But they got like 3 different guys. They got Kelly. They got Balaj. They got Danny Woodhead. They have Michael Turner, Darren Sproles, LaDainian Tomlinson. I mean, they got all these guys. I don't know how you start him. No, I'm going to go with Kelly, though. Jackson's out. Eckler's out. Kelly should be the primary guy there. I think he's playing. He's not hurt too, is he? Jeez, I don't know. Joe says Chubb at Houston or Swift versus Washington. I'm going with Chubb. Roll him out. Houston is the easiest matchup you could ask for. And I know he's hurt and he's coming back. But if you miss out on a 150-yard game by Nick Chubb, you are going to be absolutely pissed. So I would start Nick Chubb. Fulgham or Ayukin? I would go with... That's tough. That's very tough, actually. I like Ayuk a lot, man, but Fulgham's been pretty good. He just has... They're both pretty hard matchups in terms of the corners they're playing, but Ayuk is like so safe to me. He's so safe because of how many plays that they give him in the offense. Like you saw what James did last week. Like those were all supposed to be Ayuk. I'd go with Ayuk, but like it's not by a lot. So, I mean, yeah, use your judgment. If you have a gut feeling either way, then go with that gut feeling. Tampa says, what if Mahomes had been drafted to Chicago or Buffalo? They would both be great. Bodo says, I got Patrick Mahomes on the bench because of a bye. My other two QBs are Ben or Tua. I'm going with Ben. Jack says, you're awesome for doing this late. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here this late. I appreciate the 42 people and the 16 likes. Hopefully we can get up to at least 20. Thomas says, hey man, who's your Super Bowl pick? I feel like I'm asked this every day of my life. The Chiefs versus the Buccaneers. Connor says, full PPR. Edmonds, Chubb, McKissick. I already answered that, bro. Party says Mitch is going in some weird order or he's really behind. Jonah says, how many points do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to get against the Jags? Approximately 32. Shelton says, standard flex John Brown or Jalen Reagor. Regar, however you say his name. All right. Good question. Because you basically hoping for a touchdown. I'm going to go with John Brown revenge game. Washington, Lions, or Patriots defense? Washington. Fabian says, what time is it for you? 10:22. Michael says, Travis Fulgham or Cooper Kupp at flex? Kupp. Go for Darwin. Says Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks, or Jarvis Landry. Brandon Mike Evans? I don't know. Mike Evans played really well versus the Panthers last time, so maybe you go with Mike Evans there. They're all kind of good, though. I like them all. Let's go with Evans. Maybe he has a big game this week. He should have had a big game last week. He was open apparently a lot according to Bruce Arians, so maybe they get him involved this week. He did play really well versus the Panthers the first time, so I'm going to go with Mike Evans. Damn, Bodo's a hater. Justin says Goddard or Ebron in standard. Let's go with Dallas Goddard. Flying says Duke Johnson, Mike Davis, or Antonio Gibson. Man. Johnson plays who again? Houston. I always forget these. Damn that. Oh, the Browns. I'm going to go with Davis plays the Bucks, which I'm fading that one. Gibson plays the Lions. I'm going to go with Gibson. What's up, James? Justin says Gibson or A-Rob at the flex in standard. I have to go with Gibson in standard. Raymond says pick 3 and half PPR. Gio, DJ Chark, John Brown, Curtis Samuel, T. Higgins, Justin. Just give me your whole team, bro. No, I'm just kidding. I could also drop Curtis to pick up John Brown and start him. Damn. I really want to say T. Higgins and Justin Jefferson, but they happen to have the two most difficult matchups. I think you start Gio. Maybe. No, I don't know, man. That's hard. Why you guys give me hard questions? I hate this. Why don't you just ask me like 2007 Tom Brady versus like 2000 Ryan Leaf? Like, why couldn't that be the question? Because I'd obviously go with Ryan Leaf. Pick 3. Chark is playing Alexander. So I don't like that. Gio plays the Steelers, which sucks. John Brown is a revenge game. Curtis Samuel plays every position on the field. T. Higgins, Justin Jefferson. Man. That's hard, dude. Not Chark. Not Samuel. So take those two out. Gio, Brown, Jefferson, Higgins. Let's go with the upside. Let's go with the floor of Gio, the upside of Jefferson, and Higgins. Let's go with that. You don't need to pick up John Brown. I won't make you do that. Kay Ellis says, it's quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end, flex. That pick I would be trading would be the first pick in round 6. What? In that round. 6 seed makes the playoffs. I feel like I got a shot. All right, go for it, man. Do it. Also, would you trade Ayuk and Drake for Woods in a must-win for a different league of mine? I mean, Kenyon Drake, I don't know if he's going to be back. And when he gets back, I don't know how relevant he's going to be. So it's basically Ayuk for Woods. In that case, I like both of them. I think Woods has a better matchup this week. But Ayuk, I think, is good the rest of the year. I think he's going to be solid. What else we got? Big Ben or Tua? Big Booby Ben. Chad says David Moore, Kenyon Drake, or Rojo in the flex. Give me Rojo. I'd go with DJ. Justin says Jacobs, Boyd, or Robbie in full PPR. It's between Robbie and Jacobs. My first inclination was Robbie Anderson, so I'm going to go with that. Bully says Mike Davis, Duke Johnson, or Chase Edmonds. I think I did this one already. Edmonds. PPR, King Kong or Godzilla? Well, Godzilla's too slow. He can't really get those receptions. He's not shifty enough. So I'd go with King Kong. He's got good reflexes. So I'd go with King Kong. Godzilla's a little too immobile for me. If it's a standard league, though, Godzilla is a red zone machine. So I'd go with him. Thomas says, do you think Frank Gore should be in the Hall of Fame? Yes, but I don't think he's one of the greatest running backs of all time. Joseph says Ryan Tannehill or Justin Herbert. Tannehill is already played. Party says Beasley, Brown, Judy, Rager. Choose 3, Mitch, BLV in capital letters. Cole Beasley, John Brown. Why do you got 2 guys on the same freaking team? Judy, Rager. Give me Jerry Judy. He looked really good last week. Give me... Oh, Beasley and Brown is really hard. Like, you basically flip a coin. I think Beasley's been more effective, more consistent, I would say. But I think I'd start both of the Bills receivers and Jerry Judy. I think I want to see another week from Mr. Rager. Pope my ass, bro. Jesse says 2 receivers, 1 flex. Fuller, Fulgham, Godwin, Moore, Ayuk, Gibson, Drake, McKinnon, Lindsey. Cut Lindsey. No, I'm just saying. Don't start Lindsey, McKinnon, or Drake. From that point, you start Fuller, Gibson. No, you need a... damn it. Fuller, Ayuk, Godwin. No. Fuller, Ayuk, Gibson. No. Fuller and Ayuk. And then I don't know who to choose between Fulgham, Godwin, and Gibson. Gibson's the safest. Fulgham has the highest floor, and Godwin's kind of like a mix between both of them. That's my opinion on the last one. Who do you think I should start? Flex, Mitch, Higgins, or Curtis Samuel? I'd go with Higgins. I mean, Samuel, he scored some touchdowns, but like, Bucks run defense is good. Hi, Mike says Ayuk or Claypool, full PPR. And I'll say this, Samuel isn't really relevant as a receiver. He's getting most of his work before without McCaffrey as a runner and like a hybrid weapon player. Mike says Ayuk or Claypool. I'd go with Ayuk. I like Ayuk a lot, guys. I don't know if you can tell. Jesse says Josh Allen or Justin Herbert rest of the season. I think I'm going with Allen there. Connor says joined, spike the like button, ask questions. Now time to, I can't see the emoji. It's probably sleep, but I don't know. Carson says Aaron Jones or Devontae Adams. Aaron Jones. But it's not by a lot. It's by a very minuscule amount. I don't know why both are not starting, to be honest. Following the Wave says, I've got DJ Chark, DJ Moore, Brandon Ayuk, Darnell Mooney, Tyler Boyd, Jalen Reagor, Antonio Gibson, Chase Edmonds. Which four should I start? You guys with these 4, 5, 6-man start questions are absolutely draining my soul. Edmonds, Gibson. 2 of them right there. Knock that one out. Edmonds, Gibson, Boyd, and Ayuk. Bam. Edmonds or Duke? Edmonds. Eric says, do you think Kalen Ballage is going to start? He's not going to start, but he's going to play. The start question is like a weird question when your name is Kalen Ballage. Like, you're not going to start. Joseph says, Ronald Jones or David Montgomery's out, so Jones. Kojo says, J.D. McKissick, Ronald Jones or James White. 2 running backs, I'd go McKissick and Jones. I don't know what the role is for White right now. He's just not involved enough. Carson says Devontae Adams or Aaron Jones or DK Metcalf. Screw off, Carson. Your team is too good. Kojo says Antonio Brown, Higgins, Jacoby Myers. You want me to pick one, pick 2, pick 4, pick... I don't know what you mean. Anish says, can you make a video on midseason playoff predictions and awards? Well, midseason kind of already passed, bro. Maybe for Patreon if you're subscribed. Kevin says choose 2 to start. AB, McKissick, Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Marquise Brown, or Cordell Patterson with this face. It's also one of my favorite emojis. McKissick, no. Get him out of there. Deontay Johnson, Marquise Brown. Get Marquise Brown out of there. We got Chris. Okay, it's Cordell Patterson, not Chris, I don't think, unless there's another person named Patterson that I don't know. So get Brown, McKissick, and Patterson out. Now, that limits you to AB, Claypool, and Deontay Johnson. And because I don't want to start both Steelers, I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson and Antonio Brown. How about that? Godwin or AB? I have both on one of my teams, and I'm starting both of them, unfortunately, because I don't like starting both guys, but hopefully they both go off. If I had to choose between one, I'd probably say Godwin, but who the heck knows? Who's the best running back in the NFL? Right? This year, probably Alvin Kamara, I guess. Medina says, what's up, bro? Appreciate the late night last minute advice. So this week, I have Thielen, Parker, Woods, Cooks, and Chark. Which 3 do you like for my starters? Thanks a lot. No problem. So this week I got Thielen, Parker, Woods, Cooks, and Chark. I like Cooks and I like Woods a lot. So then it comes down to Chark, Thielen, and Parker. I like Thielen, but I don't like the matchup. I don't mind Parker. I think Chark's matchup is really tough this week. Let's go with Parker. I know it's hard to sit Thielen. Maybe you should go with Thielen over Parker, but I think Parker has some upside in this game. So I'm going to go with Woods, Cooks, and Parker. I think Parker's healthy, right? You never know with that guy. Brian says DJ Chark, DJ Moore, or Brandon Ayukin. I'm going to go with Brandon Ayukin. What else we got? Hazelnut says, yo, yippee, yo, what's up? You diggin'? Jerry Jeudy over Brandon Ayuk. Not really, but I mean, if you're digging it, then I'll dig it, Booker T. Hazelnut says, hit him with Crab, the most what? I don't know what you're talking about. Vicious killer. Maybe a reference went over my head. Should I start Edmonds or Higgins? Edmonds. For sure. Tesla with a 3 says flex full PPR. Deontay Johnson, Gibson, Edmonds, Ayuk, or Elon Musk. So I'm going with Elon. And then I'll go with Edmonds. Edmonds out of those guys. Revise says Brady, Carr, or Burrow. I'm going with Thomas, Edward, Brady. Mark says Rager or DJ. DJ. And no. What's up, homie? What up, homie? What's up, man? Revise, I answered that. What else we got? Chaz says, should Nick Chubb really play this game? I'm worried about his knee. I'm not a doctor, and I've not seen him run at practice, so I cannot really answer that question, but I want him to play because I have him on my fantasy team, so yes, he should play. Who's winning the NFC East? The Rams, because they already swept the NFC East. So that's my answer. Following the Wave says, thanks, subbed. Oh, we got new viewers here. Thanks. 999, what's up, man? Should I start Alvin Kamara? Okay, bro, what is this question? Alvin Kamara or Benny Snell? I definitely think you should start Benny Snell. Out of those two players, one of them is the best running back in the NFL, a great combination of receiver and runner. I mean, he puts up touchdowns, receptions, rushing yards, and the other is Alvin Kamara. So I would go with, obviously, the guy that I said first. What else do we got here? Crow says, do you think if the Patriots somehow, some way beat the Ravens, do you think they got a shot for the playoffs? I do think they have a shot for the playoffs. I don't think they need to beat the Ravens to do it, but they would need to go 9-7. Kevin Durkant says he just washed his face. Thank you for that information. Anthony says start AB, Jefferson, or Robinson. Oh, I saw Durkant got a fresh cut, by the way. Start AB, Jefferson, or Robinson in PPR. I would go with Allen Robinson. Big Ben or Jared Goff? I would go with Jared Goff. Gio or Duke? I would go with Duke. Kyle Brandt's younger brother, K. Adams is hot. Yes, K. Adams is hot. And Kyle Brandt's younger brother. That's a compliment, so I'll take that. Rudy says 2 running backs, Hunt, Chubbs, or Edmonds. Edmonds and Chubb. Crow says, who's better, Herbert or Burrow in general? Herbert. No, Burrow. No, Herbert. No, Burrow. I actually think Burrow is better, but I think for fantasy, Herbert is better. So when I first answered that question, Crow, I know you don't have a fantasy team, but I keep thinking fantasy. So you're asking me these questions, and I'm reacting as if it's a fantasy question. So you're throwing me off. Carl says Rager, Chark, or McKissick. Full PPR need 1. Bro, go for it all. Jalen Rager. Do it. Burnt says, which 3 to start? Curtis Samuel, John Brown, Travis Fulgham, T. Higgins, Christian Kirk, or Jacoby the Goat Myers? Don't start. Oh, that's tough. They're all kind of like the same other than Curtis Samuel, who's a little hit and miss. John Brown's a little hit and miss, I guess. Ooh, that is really difficult. What type of league is this? That would help me a little bit. I'm going to say Fulgham, Higgins, and Kirk. but Kirk and Brown are really close. Is Dez Bryant still a top 10 receiver? Is Busboy a top 10 receiver? Both answers are the same. Obviously, yes. What else? Sakleem says, I was offered Stephon Diggs for Nick Chubb. Have Mixon, Eckler, Davis, and Gio on the bench. That's not bad. Mixon, Eckler. Eckler, I don't know. He's supposedly coming back week 13. Davis, Gio on the bench. Gio and Mixon are the same guy, even though Mixon's better. Davis is only around for maybe a week or two more. What type of league is it? Juju and Will Fuller are your current receivers. If it's a full PPR league, I would do it. If it's a standard league, I would keep Nick Chubb. Hazelnut says, I got Russell Wilson for Matt Ryan. Mad skills. This guy with the emojis. Crow says, Mitch, Busboy lied about having a girlfriend. He lied about having a girlfriend because he doesn't have one. He has multiple. Psychic says, Fulgham or Duke, half PPR. I'm going to go with Duke as the starting running back of the Texans. Tristan says, pick 2. Bernard, Edmonds. Guys, Edmonds is an auto start. Just put him in your lineup. Okay, so then when you get past Edmonds, McKissick, no. Kelly, no. Patterson, no. It's between Bernard, Higgins, Duke, and Myers. I'd go with Duke. Bernard's matchup's tough. Higgins' matchup's tough. Duke's isn't terrible. Myers is tough. So I'd go with the guy that doesn't have a tough matchup. Revise says AB, Slayton, Hamler, Danny Amendola. Pick 3. Oof. AB, Slayton, and Danny Amendola. Who's better, Scary Terry or DK? DK. Can I do a video on that? Yeah, I already answered that question. Standard. I don't remember your question, man. This is the problem when I ask that. Who should I start? Dez Bryant or Calvin Johnson? Calvin Johnson. Should I start DJ or John Brown? Rager, Sterling Shepard, Jacoby. Half PPR. I feel like I've answered some of these questions twice, but I'm just going to do me. Should I start DJ Moore? I have John Brown, Rager, Sterling Shepard, Jacoby that I have half PPR. I'm starting to zone out now. This is a lot of questions, guys. I'm getting through as many as I can. I'll be here for another few minutes. DJ Moore, John Brown, Rager, Sterling Shepard. Don't start Shepard. Man. I think you got to start DJ Moore. Are we believing the Jacoby hype enough? I don't know. He gets a lot of targets, though. Is it only one? Because if it's one, DJ Moore. But I don't know if it's multiple. Tesla, what rookie quarterback this draft will be a starter in 5 years? I'm going to say that Burrow and Herbert for sure. Probably Tua. And I liked Hurts coming out. I see the potential in Love, but I'm not exactly sold 100%. My favorite guy by far was Burrow. My second favorite was Herbert. I ranked Tua third, I think. Maybe fourth. I might have had Love third. I don't remember. But for sure my top 2 are Burrow and Herbert. So if you're investing in rookie cards, I would go with Burrow and Herbert all the way. I know they'll be more expensive, but that's just my opinion. Rager or Ruggs? Ooh. I'm going to say Ruggs. That's tough. I don't know what to expect from the Eagle. Hey, thanks for subscribing, by the way. Who should I trade for at wide receiver? Jefferson and Parker? Man, Rey Mysterio. What's going on? 619. Booyaka. Damn. Should I trade Jefferson and Parker? Who should you trade for? A number one receiver. That's what I would trade for. I don't know what your assets are. I don't know what type of league you're in. You're not really giving me a lot of information. But I would not feel comfortable with where you're at with Jefferson and Parker, just my opinion. Mark says trade Allen Robinson for Hunt. No. In a PPR league, no. Unless you really need a running back. Gronk or Hawkinson? Hawkinson. Hawkinson's a top 5 tight end. As long as he plays. If he doesn't play, start Gronk. Guys, Hawkinson's a top 5 fantasy tight end. Maybe even top 4 or top 3 right now. It's Kelsey, Waller, and then Hawkinson. I think's third. Jesus says, should I still start Allen Robinson? Yes. I would have a contingency plan, though, unless you have a great bench that you could start another guy without having to worry. Should you start Cam Akers in a 30-man league? Still no. Anish says Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow in fantasy. Herbert. Joey says traded Diggs, McLaurin, Alaire, and Gronk for Mixon, Miles Sanders, Higgins, and Bernard Scott. Who won? Ooh. I think I like the Diggs and McLaurin side more, but it's not by a lot. I guess if you had receivers already, Joey, then I get the move. Like it's pretty fair. I wouldn't say it's not fair. It's fair. So like depending on what you thought of the move. Yo, Mark, what's up, man? He says, sup, Mitch, any ideas on what James Robinson value is in a half PPR? He's probably a top 10 running back, I would think. I don't know exactly where he lands in terms of total points scored. But in terms of just off the top of my head, he's probably a running back 1. I would prefer if in an ideal world you have him as a RB2 just because he's on a shitty team. But he's probably on a lot of teams an RB1. So yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's at least reliable. And that's what you need in a running back. If you trade him, I'd rather try to piece him and a receiver to get a better running back, or like an Aaron Jones, somebody like that, or get like a top receiver. But I don't even know if I'd trade him for a receiver, depending on who you have on your team. Or maybe I'd trade him for Kelsey. That's like the only other guy. And if it's in a PPR league. Or it's half PPR, right? When are they going to take Lamar out for McSorley? Probably never. Full PPR, Gibson, Davis, Duke, Dobbins, Kirk, AB. Oh, guys. Gibson. Crow says Julio or Jacoby. Obviously. Jacoby, the great one. Revise says, laugh my ass off. This is why you're my favorite channel. I don't know what I said, but thank you. Damian Harris. He could have a sneaky decent game if he plays because the Baltimore Ravens are susceptible to the run. Harris is a really solid player. It's just I don't know how much they're going to score, but like that is going to be their way of moving the ball. So he's not a terrible fill-in. You could probably do worse. Hawkinson over Ebron, yes. Chubb, Cox, and Hardman walk into a bar. Good joke. Sam says, should I start DK or Lockett? Bro, what a question. I am going with the hot take that you start Tyler Lockett this week. Jack says, Duke or Chase Edmonds? Ed to the Muns. Ali says, who? 2 flex. Ayuk or Kareem Hunt? 2 flex? I mean, both. If it's 2, I don't understand. 1 + 1 = 2. But Kareem Hunt. Jacob says, need some solid advice. Vikings defense, Washington's defense. Vikings, in my opinion. Jack says, you're the best for staying up doing this. Thank you, Jack. I think you said that already, but I appreciate it twice. Ray says, non-PPR, have a quarterback, Tua, running back, CMC, Aaron Jones, Antonio Gibson, wide receiver, Jefferson, and Parker. So I really Christian McCaffrey needs to come back for you to have an opportunity. I would try to flip Gibson for a receiver if you can get some really good value, but I understand you're kind of in a tough spot because Christian McCaffrey's hurt. So, yeah, that's tough, man. Kind of got to ride it out right now because of the injuries. I don't know who else you have on your team, but Logan says Mike Davis or Boyd. I'd go with Mike Davis. Nick says Claypool, AB, Jarvis Landry at flex. Nick. See, AB and Claypool are like the same guy right now. So like it's really hard to decide between both of those guys. It's basically flipping a coin. So whoever you feel better about those two guys. But I think Jarvis Landry should be the safest out of those three guys in a full PPR league. Now, if it's a half or a standard, you would probably switch towards the Claypool AB conversation. But full PPR, I think I'd go Jarvis. What am I expecting out of DJ Dallas? For him to get a lot of touches and suck with a lot of touches, but still put up fantasy points. Because that's what he does. Ultra says, still streaming. Good night, Mitch. See you tomorrow in the Discord. See you tomorrow, sir. Finn says, T. Higgins or Geo, PPR. Yeah. T? Sam says, should I start Miles Sanders or Nick Chubb? I think you go with Sanders just because of Chubb's uncertainty. Thank you, Jack. Homer or Jordan Howard? Standard, Howard, PPR, the home dog. William says AB or Kirk also. I want to say Kirk, but betting against AB is not somewhere I want to be. But they both have the capabilities of big games. I'm going to say Kirk because I think the game will be competitive down the wire, and I think both teams will be passing the ball. Start Juju, Devontae Parker, DJ Moore, and Brandon Ayuk. Start 2. Juju and Ayuk. Edelman or Fitz? Edelman's hurt, but I'd still go Edelman. I'm just kidding. Who has the best receiving core in the NFL? The Bucks. All right. I am done. AC, what's up? Says Hunt or Henderson. I'm going with Hunt. Hunt there. Actually, Seattle is really good versus the run. And Hunt has a juicy matchup even though Chubb is back. So I go with Hunt. They also says Fournette, Duke Johnson, or Devontae Parker. Duke Johnson's the safest there, and he will catch the ball. Fournette is risky, but he has the highest upside. So kind of depends what your lineup needs. If you need a guy that's safer, I'd go Duke. If you need a guy that could like break a 50-yard touchdown, maybe score 2 touchdowns, it's Fournette. But I think I'd go Duke more often than not. Myers or Emmanuel Sanders? Giacobbe. Allin says, should I start Goff against the Hawks? Yes. All right, I am done. The game stream tomorrow, I don't know, because I'm supposed to be hanging out with Mr. Brett Gemmel, the Iceman. So maybe the Rams game. If not, Sunday night. I have to figure out what works best. But definitely will be streaming tomorrow, maybe even Monday night. We'll have to see. All right, guys, I'm going to go film my best bets now. For Patreon. So if you guys aren't subscribed to Patreon, make sure you do subscribe to Patreon. $3 a month, and you get those best bets. I'll see you tomorrow for whatever game I decide to stream. Peace.